All right, Paul Chapman here with Mike Tracos at the NHL Draft at Rogers Arena. Mike, first two picks, Jack Hughes and Coco Cape, went exactly as expected, but after that, the order got mixed up a little bit. I don't think we've seen too many surprises, only one trade yet, but a lot of intrigues in the first 15 picks, I would say.
Yeah, I went 2 for 2, Paul, so I'm really happy about my draft predictions. But at number 3, you know, there were a number of ways that the Chicago Blackhawks could have went with this. Obviously, we knew Jack Hughes was going to go 1. We knew Kakko was going to go number 2. After that, it was wide open, and I think a lot of speculation was that Alex Turcotte, U.S. center, was going to go number 3. Instead, it's Kirby Dach, first Canadian off the board. Plays for the Saskatoon Blades, a huge guy. I could see a future, maybe Jonathan Toews in him. After that, it was the defenseman, Bowen Byram, who Toronto fans should be used to seeing because he looks a lot like Morgan Rielly, that style of defenseman. So, you know, there has been some intrigue. Obviously, Edmonton, I thought Cole Caulfield would have been a perfect pick for them as a winger. Instead, they went with the Swedish defenseman and Philip Broberg. I know Vancouver fans are kind of questioning why they went with a Russian guy and Podkolzin, who's got 2 years remaining on a KHL contract. But you know what? A lot of these picks, aside from the top 2, you're not going to see for a number of years anyway. So it's patience, patience, patience.
Yeah, the reaction, you know, being someone from Vancouver, the reaction in the rink was a little strange. It was, I don't know if they were out and out boos, but there was shock. People didn't seem happy. I know people had talked about Caulfield, who was there. They talked about Boldy. There were a number of players that I think Canuck fans thought, man, I can't believe he's there. And they go for a Russian where I guess you hang the enigmatic tag on any Russian these days.
Right.
But this is the draft. You're absolutely right. Outside of Hughes, maybe the second pick, you don't know what you're getting. It's a crapshoot.
No, I remember, like, in Montreal, like, the Canadian fans were booing Carey Price when he got picked, right? Like, you just have to remember that things can change dramatically in a number of years. And now we just saw, like, the first goaltender go off the board, and Spencer Knight goes to the Florida Panthers. That's another one that I was kind of intrigued by, just because goaltenders tend to go later now. Like, it seems like you can find the best goalies in the NHL in rounds 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And so the fact that Spencer Knight went 13th overall, I think it's the highest pick since, I think, Jonathan Burney and Jack Campbell both went 11th overall. So that's intriguing in my mind. But, you know, talking to scouts today, they said this draft is probably the strongest draft they've seen since 2016. And 2016, you had Matthews at top, followed by Laine. You had Tkachuk in that draft. I think you had Charlie McAvoy, Clayton Keller, Pierre-Luc Dubois. And that was another draft where after number 1 and 2, there was a lot of intrigue in terms of who was going to go number 3. And, you know, there was a lot of question marks why the Columbus Blue Jackets went with Dubois over a guy like Jesse Puljujärvi. And now we look back on it and say, you know what, Columbus made the right choice, even though at the time it was a head-scratcher. Yeah,
if there was a real curveball in the top 10, it was Detroit at 6, taking the German kid, Moritz Seider.
I had to do some homework there, and I know you did too, because none of us really knew a whole lot about him.
No, and the crowd reaction was interesting, but if you go back and read some of the pre-draft analysis out of Detroit, they did love this kid, but maybe they didn't have value on him at 6. But what does it say, rather than making a trade for trade's sake, that your scouts have given you the information, I love this kid, we're going to take the guy that we like?
Yeah, you know, I trust Steve Yzerman. You look at the Tampa Bay's draft history, and it was rock solid. So, you know, he's bringing that to Detroit. Maybe he's going to hit a home run. Maybe this is the next Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah, well, there was only the one trade involving Arizona and the Flyers. Just, you know, switching order of a couple of picks. Maybe we'll see more still to come, but there's still being players in the first round. We're going to update this all through the weekend.